Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to an installment of the Quickview series. This one, a little bit the same, a little bit different. We do have the added bonus of unboxing. Unboxing has never been out of the box. The mellifluously named RGT number 136100-Pro, the 1/10 scale Pro Power Crawler Shooter. I feel like something maybe lost in translation. There is RGT Extreme Adventure. There's already one downside to what you're about to see. And that is that I know from the little check marks on the outside of the box that it's this one and not this one. And you would say, well, why is that a negative? The pink one comes with pink anodized axles. Pink, come on, right? It's pink anodized axles. So, this is definitely more in the line of 1/10 scale, while things labeled as 10th scale, it has begun to have no meaning. Losi still calls the entirety of the Ray series 10th scale, and one of them has something like a 17-inch wheelbase. No, that would be a 15-foot, almost a 15-foot wheelbase on a vehicle. Look at him, he's adorable. Look at how little he is. So, it's not manual radio vehicle. What more can we ask for? Hingy, but not effectively so. The body hinges into the rear tires. And the hinge is... Oh, okay. No, hinge also effective. All right, now, things that are notable. We've got a little guy that looks like a tiny little Fusion, and the outside of the box does say FOC on it. And if it says FOC on it, that means that we've got at least, at the very least, some sort of licensing from Hobbywing, because they own the FOC thing. We can get a little... Nope. No ASMR to that. It's really heavy-duty vinyl. This body is... What a weird slope on the roof. This body is concerningly heavy. That is to everything I think, that is a surprisingly heavy body based on the size. We need just 4 of the never referred to as an LR6, aka the AA battery. This is another of the Fly Sky quote-unquote rebadges. There is a JST in the bottom, so you could put a little lipo or lithium ion in there. What you can get to fit, I don't know. We're just going to run it on the old Doble MG6BS, which I'm going to assume is a less feature-packed cousin to the MG11, which comes in the FMS, like the K5 Blazer and the LC80 Pro. Guys, come with me, and you'll see things which I determine inexplicable. Okay. They say 10th scale, which kind of might maybe mean something nowadays. We're sitting at a wheelbase of just under 270. It's just over 270. Like 272. Is there truth in advertising? What do they claim? I'm going to just turn my head upside down. Clearance, wheel, weight, ESC motor. Okay, wheelbase 275. It's a little shorter than that. In this configuration right here, no battery, 3.05 pounds. Is that 1.5, just under 1.5 kilos? 1,380 grams, 1.4 kilos. We jump up to 1,675. So that is might as well be a 300 gram body. For a body that small, that's very heavy. I think it's due to the little pivot mechanism. 3.7 pounds. So we pick up 3/4 of a pound, between 11 and 12 ounces for this body. I think a huge amount of it is this giant apparatus to make the hingey at the back, and quite a truss of an apparatus at the front to give us the grill and the front body mounts. Choices were made. Now, if we're viewing this at 10 scale, and 270 millimeter wheelbase would classify as 10 scale, and you've got full alloy axle housings, you've got metal shocks, and you know what? Out of the box, that's not bad. It feels a little bit oversprung for something that weighs 3.7 pounds with the absolutely hulky bulky body on it. We've got a forward motor mount because that is en vogue. We've got are we same direction of rotation? Yes. I'll tell you this, it does have the fusionistic feel when you roll it, because there's almost no resistance. Like, no, it basically free rolls. It feels like it almost doesn't have gears attached. We've got 2 green lights, GLED and BAT. We can turn drag brake on and off. We've got steering reverse, throttle reverse, steering dual rate, steering trim, throttle dual rate, and throttle trim. We have the necessary things. We have a bunch of extra channels. We've got channel 3, 4, 5, and 6. I like that 5 is auto returning. I don't know what that does. I turned the bat light off. Let's just get into it. When we do one of these, what we're looking at is, does it RTR? I feel like it's almost foregone that which is going to hold this back the most is the tire. They feel Amazon grade. Very light glue on wheel, very firm single stage foam. I still got some megalithics up there. We could throw some megalithics on it. If it's just tires, it's not a death knell, you know. It's not bad. Holy moly! Okay, yeah, we got guys, we got problems. So, oh, I didn't even check before I plugged in the battery. Does this thing run on 3S? Let me unplug that real quick. Okay, there's no heat coming off of anything. Sometimes diving in, as we do, I mean, we could have blown that to smithereens. I don't like being told what to do. Do not use this product when visibility is limited. Do not use this product when you are tired, uncomfortable, or under the influence of alcohol or drugs. It's good to know. This product can use the 2S or 3S LiPo battery. No battery includes in factory. Recommend? ? Battery. 2S, 3S LiPo battery or 5-cell NIM battery. You're not getting a 5 to 9 cell. You're not getting a 9-cell NIM in there. Please match the ESC mode with the corresponding battery type. Pay attention to the battery size and plug specification when purchasing. The maximum battery is such and such. The Fusion Mini RTR. Ooh, all right. I'm just reading the manual. Come with me. 2200 kV. BEC is a 7.4 2 amp. 4 pole. The motor is a 2446. I wonder how close that is to a Mini. It looks reasonably close to a Mini. But 2200 on a 3S should be no problem at all. 2200 on 3S should be manageable at the least. 2200, I'm going to say 2200 a couple times. 2200 is what I would regard as too low of a KV for 2S. Just got to get used to it. You can. It's a Fusion. Ooh, one more thing from the book. Motor shaft diameter 2.3. So that is the same, accepts the same pinions as a Fusion Mini 16. What we have to do is we definitely have to hope that this guy does the things, because if you tried to put a Mini 16 in there, you're going to make yourself a rocket. You've got your very own little pre-runner. And even on 2S, the 3000 would be faster than that, because we'll have gone down in voltage 1/3, but we will have gone up in 8, 16, 24. We will have gone up in kV about the same. It'll be a hair faster, if my mental math is correct. So, carbon fiber, dual plate chassis, everything looks reasonably well finished. We've got all metal drive shafts. We've got all metal axles. We've got a metal plate. We've got a metal FMM. We've got all metal spacers. It looks really nice. And when this was first announced, when RGT first announced it, somebody said, are you planning on getting one? This one is here on loan. They order it, they have it stop here, and then they send it off to its forever home. And they asked, would you be interested in buying one of these? And I went and looked it up. And at that time, I don't know about today, at that time, the RGT Crawler Shooter Pro was $329. And I was like, absolutely not. That's the same price as a TRX4 Sport. That's insane. Yeah, I mean, it's a cute little thing, but we're basically talking typical to the size of something from Tamiya. Tamiya doesn't really make rock crawlers. Doesn't feel really oversprung. It feels slightly underdamped again. This is RTR stuff. The most you will see out of me today is they're right here, and they're still on wheels. We've got 4 J-Concepts megalithic C1s, which are, might as well be the same size. And look at that. I mean, that's nice. That's real nice. I can't get my head around how heavy this body is for how small it is. It's also a bit of a rocket. We'll see what kind of control we get out of it. I don't believe any of the other buttons do anything. We have 2 channels. Now, is there another cable? No. So it doesn't have the, like, remote drag brake disable like a Mini 16 does. Oh, there you go. Obscured by the wire. If we pull that out of the way. There's the HW. So it is a hobby wing for the OE on it. What is that noise? It's an interesting sound. Hobby Wing, hear my plea. Release the Mini 16 in a 2200 kV version. Por favor. I could definitely use one. We're going to take that 850, which I think is perfectly sized. We're going to kind of... All right. This is like trying to catch the arrestor hook on an aircraft carrier. There we go. I'm going to make no comments aside from the ones that you would expect. about the cosmetics and or the appearance. You either like a thing or you don't like a thing, and everybody is different. Everybody's got their own preference. For me, I'm not going to go so far as to say that a 12-ounce body on a vehicle of this size is a deal breaker, but it's got the body clips with the little bent up tabs, and I don't really want to go through very easily. There we go. Also, I should point out, I'd be remiss, 15 kg server. Got one of them servers in it. What kind of power you got in your server? It looks, let's be honest, it looks weird. The rear tires 100% do not line up with the wheel wells. So the wheelbase on the body, we'll get the shorter ruler out. I would put the wheelbase on the body at, well, about, honestly, it's about 275. So the whole body is just moved forward about. Is there any way to adjust that? No. That's better. That's better. Ooh. The hinge is cause for concern. That's much better. It's still aft in the well about, there's about 10 millimeters of gap right here. Like I can fit a finger, and you can just fit the ruler in there in the back. We've seen this before. Element has done this in the past. Yeah, you can see right there. It's a little far back. The tires look comical in size. Again, that's a pure cosmetic thing. Nobody's going to care because they're 2.2s. Why would you make those 2.2? $329. So far, everything about this is question marks. This is just a collision of we got to drive it, right? We just have to. We got to take it and we got to drive it. RC Off-Road Club. I got to read the whole name because I think the whole name tickles me the most. 13136100 Pro. Don't forget RGT Extreme Adventure. I need the other side of the box. 110 scale brushless FOC LCG Rock Crawler Pro. The Pro Power Crawler Shooter. $329. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Will it RTR? I'm just going to get the bag. I'm taking these with us. I feel like it's going to be rough on these. It's going to be rough. And we'll just throw these on and we'll see. We'll make an effort not to hold that against it. I've had to say it so many times before, and I will all but certainly have to say it so many times again. The drive back is an informative thing. Shooter is a perfect name for this. Should you have fingers of any kind of size bigger than, say, a glove medium, you will, because of the layout of this controller, because of the way the controller is laid out, you will invariably accidentally brush reverse. Now, you can get the speed down to almost controllable because it's FOC. Yeah, this is absolutely what I anticipated. And because you have to be so delicate on the trigger, because you have to be so delicate on the trigger, it almost feels like the FOC is wasted. If you breathe on the trigger for reverse, If this motor is indeed the stated 2500 kV, then the gear reduction inside the transfer case is effectively non-existent. I need to overemphasize how little gear reduction this has. This thing is double digits in speed easily. It is far, far too fast. And, okay, now let's say, and then somebody's going to say, well, put a 2S in it. That will drop the speed by a third. It will still be too fast. We've got this amount of, like the FOC, and the tire, honestly, not as bad as I'd thought. It's too light and it's over foamed. But the whole thing is just a massive question mark. Like, quite literally, why? Why? Why does the body weigh 12 ounces? Why did they decide to make it this size? It's somewhere around the neighborhood of the size of an Element Enduro 12. The Enduro 12 holds no place of warmth in my heart, but it does cost half of what one of these costs. Everything is better. All of the included stuff, I have no beef with. The servo, you're getting an FOC feel off of that OE grade Fusion Mini. The tires are bad, but not awful. I'm no more mad at these tires than I would be at anything typically R35. It just feels like if we don't have enough gear reduction, and that means that it's going to shuttle us towards 2S, that's a non-starter for me. I own one, maybe two 2S batteries, and one of them is a hard case 5000. I don't crawl on 2S at all, ever, period. It's 3S and a smattering of 4S. It's the 21st century. We're a little bit of a ways into it. There's no need to run 2S. The nameless, faceless designers, engineers, and manufacturers of vehicles like this, they would have you believe that gear reduction is unconscionably expensive. Well, you can make high kV motors. You've proven this. There's 3000s and 2800s and 2850s. How about just give us a little bit more gear reduction, which is mechanical advantage, and then throw a higher kV at it? I'm tired of so many of these things. So it's got a 2200 in there. What does it need? Like a 1400. But it runs a Mini. So what are your options? There aren't. You can go back to brushed. If you're giving up FOC just to drop kV, well, don't do that. Don't do that. So you are where you are. You're on a 2200. You're probably going to have to run 2S, much like a UTB-18. If you put a Mini 16 in a UTB-18, you're running 2S. Or you're building a land speed tiny thing. It is very nearly capable of doing some things. They claim LCG, and I believe that's true. It's just everything is too much. The weight of the body, what did we say? Went from 3 to 3.7, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. So just over 20% of the RTR weight is just the body. Is that right? Dividing in 7. Does that seem right? Went from 3 to 3.77, 14, 21, 20. Yeah. Just over 20%. Or if you do the percentages the other way, the body weighs a quarter of the weight of the entire vehicle. That's too much. That's way too much. Unless you're going to run a hard body on it, which that's the one narrow slot. This is about the wheelbase of like a Mojave. You could extend the rear links a little bit and run a Mojave, run some sort of RC four-wheel drive hard body. I could see that. It's got nice axles. The stuff is well made. It does not have enough gear reduction. The FOC, that Fusion is doing so much heavy lifting right now. It's got a lot of push because it appears to have no underdrive nor overdrive split. So we're just getting, it's 50-50 front to rear. And because the weight balance feels not biased, we feel like we've got, the weight distribution of a Ferrari, which is not usually desirable. And FMM is designed to put motor weight forward. The motor, that radio, the MG6BS, is not awful. But that motor on 3S, it might be acceptable on 2S. But you still have such a narrow band of pull that you're allowed to use. The touchiness level is so high. It was descending pretty well. And when we got to get down towards the bottom, all I did was let go of throttle. Gave a micro blip to the reverse, and it just doodlebugged. It front flipped. When I went to right it, I realized I could see the wire for the lights dangling down, so I plugged those in. They're yellow, which is just interesting. It gives it kind of a Christine vibe, I think. The smoothness of the FOC is somewhat spoiled because it's so fast. And again, in setting up a defensive position against the Run 2S comments, it will be 33% slower. It's a rocket. This feels very much, this has got all the feel of, we designed this for portals and then decided that the portals were too expensive. That 2200 in a UTB 18 would be real ooh. You could build some sort of land speed pre-runner out of this, I guess. If I try to get past the 329, and as I said, very R35 feel to the tires. They're not terrible. They're just not great. They kind of fulfill that self-fulfilling prophecy of, I bet these are going to work like RTR tires. And they do. I would very nearly say that this thing does qualify as RTR, if not for... It's faster in reverse. Nope. There's not enough. The MG6, the radio, could be passable in another application. FlySky is really leaning in to this part of the market where they're making OE level transmitters. I mean, maybe that's where the money is. This thing is, from the very beginning, and it has not lessened now, just a series of question marks to which I'm not sure I have any answers. It doesn't really fit aftermarket wheels. The stub axles are so short because we have a very neutral offset that's like dead in the center of the wheel. And look how little plastic the stub actually has to go through. It has to go through like 3 millimeters of plastic. So none of those lock nuts are all the way on. These are -10 wheels. So now all of a sudden we fatty stanced. We stanced out real wide. But it is J Concepts green, and all 4 of the OE tires weigh less than one of these. Nope, they can't help it. They can if you can get clear. I mean, it's green and it's megalithics, but it's, I throw a couple more question marks on it. I don't get it. Who is this for? It's not a mini nor a micro. It's 10th scale air quotes around it. Yeah, you could stretch this out and put like a Mojave on it. But why? Like, why would you do that? It's $329. It's not going to fit many of the things that you have. I can't imagine that it's going to do many of the things that you want. Yeah, see, if we don't get into bind-up territory. The amount of push is dramatically reduced, as one would expect. These are big Injora alloys. They're much heavier. You have no ground clearance. So it's like it's the size of a UTB 18, but you're going to get hung up on absolutely everything. It does not care for rough terrain in any way. If you run an offset at all bigger than the wheel that comes with it, the tire, that noise is the tire grabbing the little flimsy front bumper and smacking it around. This is in my recollection, my second experience with vehicles from the brand RGT. I didn't get the last one. I didn't understand what it was for. It was what I deemed not worthy of a project. Don't put money into that. By the time you get it competent, you've spent more money than the thing is worth, and you should have just started with something else. With the little Pro Shooter here, it's same but different. Like, I wouldn't invest any money into this because you're going to continually run into issues of, well, that doesn't fit. Well, that doesn't fit. Well, that doesn't fit. It doesn't really want to be 3S. I don't know how well it would do on 2S. It's not going to slow it down that much. Then you're going to run down the rabbit hole of trying to find 2.3 millimeter bore pinions, which are not the most common things out on the market. It is absolutely not a receptacle, a recipient of the Fusion Mini 16 and 3000 kV. It would be an absolute missile, even on 2S. If you have 1.9 beadlocks, they might fit, they might not. My hope was, upon unboxing, we can just throw some different class 1s on it, and it will be improved. But it kind of moved laterally. What if we get someplace where we can't get hung up? We just catching the bumper on the tire. You're going to have to be so careful with your selection of wheel, so that it doesn't interfere with the body parts. If you replace the body, the 12-ounce body, what have you left? The price point is a non-starter for me. The fact that 3S isn't really very cooperative with it is a non-starter for me. A 12-ounce body in that size, you could probably, if you just sourced RC 4-wheel drive and just bought the cab and the bed, I'm not 100% sure a Mojave cab and bed would weigh more than this. It's question mark after question mark after question mark. I don't understand who the target is for the Pro Shooter at $329, the cost of a TRX4 Sport, which has pretty much shown itself to be RTR. I don't regard this as RTR. Yeah, it drives, it goes. It's borderline uncontrollable. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. What this is great. More options is more better. I'm sure, see, that's just the rear pumpkin just stuck. I'm sure there are people out there that really enjoy this kind of odd middle size stuff. I'm trying to get it and I don't get it. I don't get it. If you're going to spend $329, by all means, please buy a TRX4 Sport and not this. I don't see an upgrade path. It's well made, I'll give it that. The suspension feels good, it's carbon rails, it's got all that stuff. But they didn't, it was like nobody sat down and made the list of what do we need this to do. They were just like, if it fits, it ships. Alloy axles, that's usually an expensive upgrade. They don't make any difference here because we don't have any gear reduction. This vehicle is not explicitly usable. Oh, I can use it for trailing. Trailing is about capacity of scale. The bigger your rig is, the more fun the trails are. That's just how it is. That's why a lot of people's favorite vehicle for trailing is an SCX6. Because it makes obstacles that would absolutely stymie this little guy, you just drive right over them. The longer the wheelbase you've got on the trail, the better. Everything gets better. I wouldn't trail with this anywhere, ever. There's only one thing I would do with this. I would not explicitly recommend this unless it is the absolute type of thing that you are into. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's a world better than the Enduro 12. But I genuinely, at $329, I don't see the point. At $229, I'm not sure I'd see the point. If this was $199, I couldn't even recommend you buy it for a grandchild because it's going to be so fast. They're going to rocket it into a baseboard at full velocity and break either the vehicle or your house. I don't know. The Shooter is a non-starter for me. And I say that looking at it, think, well, it looks pretty good. But what's underneath does not deliver for that price tag. This is a question mark. If you want something this size, buy a UTB 18. Try to find the non-four-wheel steer UTB 18 and buy one of those. That is my recommendation. RGT, 0 for 2 in the Canyon, as far as I'm concerned. The one wasn't worth upgrading. This one isn't really upgradable. 12mm hexes, nice. Full-size servo, good. Spec of a Mini 16 OE sourced by Hobbywing, nice. We've got a lot of things that look positive on paper, and then out in practice, in service, none of this is really very usable. If $329 is your budget, I can give you 10 other things to buy. And this one is not on the list of 10. So, there you go. There you go. It's not resigned just to the size of it. Looks great on a Class 1. But it's a cul-de-sac. This is a cul-de-sac of a vehicle. And that is indeed that. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining me here in the canyon today. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. In between now and then, please one and all do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. This is going back in the box and is getting shipped off to its forever home, like, within the hour. I see no point in moving forward, other than moving forward this way. See you next time, everybody. Comments below, all the usual stuff. Have a good one.